All right, so hello everyone. So welcome to our first webinar of 2001. I guess the first thing I need to check is that everybody can hear me. So can everybody maybe go to the chat box and tell me if you can hear me? You know, it's one of the things that we always need to check. Fantastic, awesome, fantastic. Thank you guys. So welcome. It's great to have you here, guys. You know, we have so many people from so many different places, you know, from so many different schools. But actually, more importantly, first of all, we would like to say thank you. You know, thank you for another year that is starting, another year there's going to be a true adventure, and another year that we're going to be able to work together, you know, to have fun together. And I really do hope that everybody had a wonderful Christmas time, you know, like a wonderful, you know, festive season, you know, that you had. Well, if you celebrated Christmas, if you didn't, that's fine. But that you had fun, you know, with some of your loved ones, you know, within the normal COVID-19 circumstances, of course. Hello, Maria del Carmen from Querétaro. Hello, Salvador from Mexico City. And also, we really, you know, from International House University, we would really like you to, you know, to look ahead to this brand new year, you know, 2021, with new vibes, you know, with great energy, and more importantly, with your very best, you know, trying to be the very best version of yourself, looking to, you know, what the new year, you know, with this new 2021 is bringing, you know, and hopefully it will bring lots of success to everyone, lots of success to you, to your families, to your loved ones, to your careers, and to everybody and anybody, you know, that has anything to do with this wonderful profession and vocation, which is teaching, right? Let's buckle up. This is our first academic webinar for the season. Remember that this is something that we started doing, ever since, we thought, we should give you support, through these pandemic COVID-19 circumstances. And we're incredibly happy to have you here, guys. Buckle up. It's the first academic webinar of the year. And today we wanted to bring somebody that could maybe talk about something that I think at heart is really important for your learners, for yourself as teachers, and for your schools, right? Because I think here it's important to consider all of those three, like the schools, the school coordinators, directors, parents, the learners themselves, and yourselves, as the teachers there in the trenches teaching the learners. And that topic is of promoting learner autonomy, right? What do we mean by that? What's involved in that? And also, what do we mean by that also in this new online reality, right? So what's in there for us, learner autonomy. So I'm going to introduce you to the speaker for the talk today. I don't know if Eliberto, you can hear us. If you can switch on your microphone and your camera, there you go. Nowadays, hi Eliberto. So people doing home office. We have all of these different backgrounds. Like we have books, we have like stuff, from different places. And here Eliberto has his library as well, in the background. So I think that's the best background for the talk, Eliberto. Eliberto is one of our CELTA teacher trainers and staff. He's involved in running CELTA courses. He's trained in different countries. He's trained in, maybe he can tell us more about that himself, but he's done some training in Costa Rica, Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, and he's also involved in the running of other teacher training programs, just like Delta, for example. This year he's actually training on our Delta courses as well. You're going to be in great hands, for this talk today, and we're incredibly happy and proud to have him be our speaker today, right? So I'm going to let you take over from here, Liberto. And remember, guys, that the format of the talk today is Liberto is going to give us loads of useful stuff on learner training, learner autonomy, and also he's going to receive questions from you, right? So remember that at the bottom, there is a Q&A section. If you go to the bottom of the screen, you'll see the Q&A. Go there and start typing your questions, because at the end, Eliberto is going to come back to those questions and answer anything that maybe he hasn't answered already. Okay, so start, shooting your questions, and Eliberto, the floor is yours. Okay, so all yours, and I'm going to step back and have fun, guys. I'll come back later, right? Have fun in your webinar today.
Yeah, thank you, and hi everybody. Hi, I hope your day is going great. So I'm happy to see a lot of people today. Yeah, that makes me very, very, very happy. And yeah, so just before I get started with my talk, so my name is Eliberto, as you heard before. And by the way, Orlando, thanks for that wonderful introduction. I think as a matter of fact, I couldn't have just put together a lot of details about my professional live. So thank you very much. So actually I know exactly what to say next time that I introduce myself. So thank you. Okay, so I'd like to give you just a little background information. Yeah, just some background information about what we have been doing here at the International House Mexico. So as you are fully aware, and probably as you already, as you have done already, probably we transferred to online teaching and training back in March, sort of, and that meant that we could pick up on many differences and similarities between face-to-face teaching and online teaching. So that, having said that, we actually fixed many things here and there, and we were just trying to tailor our courses to our candidates' needs. And based on feedback coming from our candidates and also Cambridge, we're really happy to see that right now we're running high quality courses. And obviously, I mean, our courses were really good before, but I'm talking about when we just moved from face-to-face to online teaching, and we started just experimenting with platforms, for example. And right now, we have gotten very, very good results in our training courses. Okay, so and that's why I gave you this little introduction. This webinar is actually a result of what we noticed students needed to enhance their learning. So I'm talking about autonomous learning. So let me just to make sure everybody knows that we are online, I'm going to share a screen right now. Okay, if that's okay. So here it is. Yeah, okay, good. So, right. So feel free to just listen to what I'm going to say. As Orlando said before, I'm going to be asking you some questions. I'm going to be sending a link through the chat box so you can just interact with me and we can have this human connection despite the fact we're just online here, okay? So, autonomous learning. Here we have what we are going to check today. So today we are going to look at what autonomous learning is, the life skills our learners need to be effective autonomous learners. So believe it or not, sometimes we have misconceptions about this. Some people believe, like, for example, some learners need to be by themselves to be autonomous, or that they don't need any guidance at all, which is wrong altogether. I strongly believe that still the teacher and tutors play an important role in this development. Number three, practical ideas for developing these skills online. So I guess this is high time we just started looking for techniques and ideas to help learners develop these skills online, because I think in the past we just focused on face-to-face teaching, and just because of the situation we're just facing at the moment, as Orlando said, our new reality, yeah, I think this is highly relevant, right? So since this is highly relevant, let me just get started, right? So here we have, sorry, here. So my first question would be the definition, right? So, okay, let's give it a think and help me with the definition of autonomous learning. So what do you think that is? I just want you to spend 1 minute and just think about it. And I'm going to share a link here in the chat box where you can see the question, okay? So let me just, here is the link. Okay, here it is. So it is now in the chat box. So feel free to now start just writing any words that come to mind when it comes to defining autonomous learning, right? So try to define what that is in your own words. And now, here we have this. Okay, so this is the question. Okay. So, so feel free to start answering the question. I hope you got the link already. Can you please just let me know? Okay, yes. So for example, I can see some things coming up. Self-motivated, self-learning, learning, learning. Okay, right. Okay, learning. Be independent. Okay, self-regulation. Okay, that's interesting stuff. Okay, independent, self-motivation, right. To learn by yourself. Okay, okay. Be creative, all right. Discipline, okay. Independence, right. Creative, okay, we already said that. Okay, it's to learn by ourselves. All right, okay, yeah, interesting ideas here and there. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I see another one over there. Yeah. Okay, good, 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 good. So that's interesting, thank you. So, okay, so let me just share screen right there. Yeah. Here we are. So yeah, actually, yeah, I'm going to show you a definition that I think defines what autonomous learning is very nicely, right? So this is a definition by Scott Thornberry. So autonomous learning assumes that the learner has well-developed learning strategies, and the development of those strategies is the aim of learner training. So over there, we have some words that we could see before, right? Based on the answers that you gave me. Okay, sorry, here. For example, we can see, for example, right there, learning, okay, developed learning strategies, okay, training, development, one more time. So yeah, okay, good. So as it says here, it's actually helping learners be more aware of what they are doing in terms of learning, and also be in charge of their own learning, to make decisions here and there, and also not to depend that much on the teacher, right? Or course books or courses altogether. Okay? So here we have what autonomous learning is not. So learners learning without a teacher. So as I said before, there is a misconception about thinking of autonomous learning as something that has to be done by students on their own, which is wrong. Students still need some guidance, and they need to be also given some tools, right? And who is the provider? The teacher. So here we have learners working entirely alone. This has to do with the previous one. Learners can be autonomous and still have some help from different sources. And those sources could be their peers or the teachers. And then we have, as the third point, something which all learners naturally have. So this is not second nature. You are not born with these skills. You have to develop them. I mean, you have to develop them. So if you actually pay attention to your learning and you become more aware of what you are doing in terms of what you are learning at the moment, then you can actually give your learning little tweaks here and there, and start looking for techniques that actually work better for you. Okay. Okay. So then we're not born with these skills. This is something that has to be developed. Okay. Right. Then we have what skills are we teaching our students to be 21st century global learners? That's my second question. And you're going to help me with this one more time. Okay. So right now, going back to our new reality and what we're facing right now, we know for a fact that our world is actually developing in a different way. So we have this new reality. So one more time, think of the skills that our learners need to be successful in terms of learning, that probably we just overlooked in the past just because we didn't see something like this happening any soon, right? Okay, so I'm going to share the link to the next question. Okay, so here it is. And can you please look for the link in the chat box? Okay. Right, so here it is to everybody. So can you please tell me the answer to this question? So the second question would be this one. Let me share screen now. Okay. So here it is. So what skills are we teaching our students to be 21st century global learners? Give it a think. Oh, technology. There you go. Critical thinking. Okay, good. Adaptability. All right. Collaboration, communication, search, read, autonomy. Okay. Flexibility. Okay. Empathy. Oh, wow. Okay. Problem solving. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah. Collaboration. Yeah. Read. Awareness. Okay, I like that. Yeah. Autonomy. Yeah. Okay. Good, good. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. And actually, I'm going to show you two categories that summarize in a very nice way what we're talking about here. So let me share my screen one more time. So here. Okay, so what are skills are we teaching our learners to be 21st century global learners? As you said before, we can see critical thinking right there. Collaboration, okay, thank you, communication, social responsibility, and we have the two categories, right? So number one would be thinking and learning skills, and as subcategories, we have creativity, critical thinking, and learning to learn. And the second category would be social and emotional skills. And as subcategories, we have communication, collaboration, emotional development, and social responsibility, all right? So these ones are actually very important, but for the purpose of this session, I'm going to focus only on the first category, and I'm going to focus on, guess what? Learning to learn. Yeah. Why? Because of what we said before. We need to make students more aware of what they are doing in terms of learning and what type of skills and techniques probably work best for them as individuals, right? Okay, so learning to learn would be the one we are going to focus on at the moment. So here we have this, and going along with thinking and learning skills, we have to actually give students learning habits. What are those? Well, it could be something simple as to, for example, some pieces of advice on how to organize notes. I was thinking about, for example, I have said this to learners. Why don't you just create a Google Docs document? I mean, over there, you can use Google Slides, and you can, on one slide, just summarize, for example, what you saw in the day in your lesson. Then in the next slide, you include the next topic and so on and so forth, right? That would be like a kind of a record of what you have been checking in your courses. The good thing about this is that this can be shared with their peers. So they can send the link to another person and they can compare notes. They can actually make notes on somebody else's notes. And for example, I can just say, oh, you forgot to include, for example, when the teacher included this, or the clarification of this, or for example, this word right there, or you forgot to include this grammar structure, and so on and so forth. So this is helping learners collaborate. It is more hands-on in terms of them being actively writing something and keeping a record of what they have checked. Number two, how to record the recycled language. So how to record and recycle language would be techniques that the students can use to go over previous information. Like, for example, they can make a conversation using certain strategies or probably target language that they checked before. Thinking about functional language, for example, or vocabulary that they can just, they want to put into practice. Number three, how to approach a text. So we know already that there are many different ways of approaching a text. For example, you can use a text for getting some language, or you can also approach the text just for comprehension. So if, for example, they want to understand what the text is about, sorry, here, okay. So then they can just, for example, just read for the general idea at the beginning and then start looking for details. They need all this guidance to actually exploit a text effectively. Okay? These are learning habits. And why is this relevant in this new reality that we are facing at the moment? Well, it is very relevant because if you don't help learners approach tests in real life effectively, probably they will not be successful when it comes to, for example, finding information online and looking for example, a specific date or specific information to answer a question. Or probably if they are looking for a blog that has to do with global warming, and they have a number of options, if they haven't mastered, for example, just reading, they will not be successful in finding the general idea, okay, and selecting the appropriate text. This is just a quick example of what students can do online to just be more autonomous. And that, remember what I said before, being autonomous doesn't mean the teacher is not there. The teacher is there, but just guiding the learner, right? As you can see in the picture. So the teacher is just far away, but still his or her guidance is over there, right? Interacting with the learner. Okay, so now, thinking about learning habits, we can use a number of tools to actually help learners develop these skills. For example, we can use online translators, online dictionaries, online learning tools, for example, Quiz Your English, and this is free. This is actually something that I didn't know it existed. I was really surprised by what you can do over there. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So online translator and online dictionary. So let's talk about dictionaries, right? So there are some things that you have to consider whenever, when it comes to deciding what kind of tool we are going to suggest learners use. Probably we can just think of advantages and disadvantages of using that specific tool. So for example, if we think about dictionaries, so the clear advantage is that it is convenient, right? So that means no matter where you are, as long as you have your computer next to you or probably your phone, you can just open your dictionary and start just looking for words. Okay, that is the reality. And then number two, huge data for words. So that means, yeah, you can find just about anything, right, on dictionaries, and they are actually getting better by the minute. Yeah. Auto updated. So that means actually, yeah, they have been including more information, more words, more expressions, and you can see that dictionaries are actually much better than they were probably 10 years ago. And correct pronunciation, you have the possibility of listening to the correct pronunciation. Actually, it can actually come in two different ways, American or British, depending on what you select. And that is something that students can actually use to just double check information if, for example, they have a doubt in terms of how this word is pronounced in, for example, British English or American English, right? Okay, there are clear drawbacks in using online dictionaries. So then the first one would be students sometimes rely too much on them. So what do I mean by that? It's basically the fact that students sometimes don't stop and start just thinking about what words they can use to just get their point across. They just rely too much on dictionaries. Sometimes they just open the dictionary and try to just look up the word. So in a way, they are not looking for the word, and probably if they actually did that, they would be surprised just by the fact that probably they have checked that before, and it is part of the repertoire, but sometimes they are not just aware of that. Right? Okay, so some explanations can be misleading. Unfortunately, some dictionaries lack some context. So that means that probably the word has specific usage in that specific context, or probably this is used in informal settings more than formal ones, right? So yeah, so the information can be misleading in that regard. Number three, the need of reliable internet connection. So believe it or not, yeah, despite the fact that right now almost everything is just online, just because of this situation we're facing at the moment, sometimes internet connection is not available to everybody, and that is the reality. I've heard this many times, and sometimes, especially, for example, right now that we are running our CELTA courses online, some of our students have a lot of problems with the connection, and it's not just something that they can fix. It's just out of their hands. And the reality is that not everybody has access to internet connections, and that is a drawback, right? That we have to consider. So students need to be guided. So as I said before, the teacher needs to be there, making sure students understand how to go about looking for information or making the most of this specific tool. Okay, so that is probably a drawback because obviously it requires time, some practice probably, and yeah, it's not as easy as you may think. Okay, so now speaking about dictionaries. So have you seen this before? This is a dictionary entry. This is actually Cambridge Dictionary. So over there we have a phrasal verb, as you can see over there, and you have different things to consider when it comes to understanding the dictionary entry. So what parts of the dictionary entry can you identify? Yeah, like for example, right there, what do we call this little part here, or this one, or how about this one right there? Or here we have more information, or how about this part here? Okay, so do you think learners need to understand all this to make the most of the dictionary? I think so, yeah. So over here, we have our next question, right? So what do students need to know to use an online dictionary autonomously? Yeah. It's not just using the dictionary for the sake of using it, but using it autonomously. So that means being actually successful at what we are looking for. And over here, I'm going to help you with some hints. Take a look at this. I have already numbered the sections over there I want you to focus on. So I want you to focus on this part right there, this one right here, this one, and this one over here. Okay, I'm going to send you the link to the question, but right now I'm going to, what I want you to do is this. Please, in your answer, can you please include the number of the section of the dictionary entry I just showed you, okay? So for example, number 1, what do you think that is? Number 2, and the answer. Number 3, and the answer, and so on and so forth, okay? Is that okay? Yeah? All right, so let's give it a try. So I'm going to send you the link. So can you please look for the link in the chat box? So let me see. Okay, here it is. So that's okay. So here's the question. And now I'm going to show you the question on the screen. Okay, fantastic. So here it is. So this is my question. And just waiting for the answer. So what do you think the names of the parts are? So actually number 1 is these two together, okay? All this. Number 2 is this. Here we have number 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so yeah, so some answers coming, right? Okay, so number 4, definition, okay. Example, part of speech, pronunciation, kind of language, meaning, example, okay. Part of speech, pronunciation, register, okay, definition, example, part of speech. Right, okay, interesting answers. So part of speech, type of word, type of pronunciation, type of word, don't know number 5, okay. Okay, so links word to find some dictionaries. Okay, how they can understand a dictionary or its structure, okay, when to use, okay, good. Part of speech is number one. Number two, phonetic sound, okay, formality, definition, example, all right, okay. Okay. Yeah, I can see more coming. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Thank you. Oh, right. So part of speech. Okay, good. Kind of speech. Okay. Formal or informal. Okay, number three. Number four, definition. Good. Okay. Thank you. Interesting. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was nice. Okay, interesting. So here we have our presentation one more time. Okay. Okay, so number one would be what we call what? The part of speech, okay, the kind of word, or basically the collocation. Yeah, and I could see some of the people actually answered that correctly. They refer to it as part of speech, for example, yeah, or different combinations of words and stuff like that. So it's basically the collocation. Yeah. Okay. For example, in here, students need to know if, for example, this phrasal verb collocates with a noun or somebody in this case, or a verb or stuff like that. So, or if there is any difference in meaning when it comes to using a different noun. For example, a place. I was thinking about a place, like get to the office, for example, right? It would be a different meaning, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so good. So this is the collocation, all right? Good. And then number two, it actually refers to IPA, right? In International Phonetic Alphabet. Good. Right. So is this important for students to know? Yes. How can it help them become more autonomous? Simple. If they actually look up another word and then they happen to see a similar phoneme or a similar transcription, probably they can just put little things here and there. I mean, put together little things here and there, and then understand the pronunciation of that specific word. Okay. Yeah. So it's just a matter of recognizing the symbols little by little. They don't need to master them, right? They don't need to memorize the whole chart, if that makes sense. Okay? But this is helping them become autonomous because they don't rely on the teacher, for example, to tell them how this is pronounced. Obviously, they have the option of listening here to British or American pronunciation, but anyways, they can just understand more just by reading the transcription, right? Okay, IPA, good, thank you. So then informal. Yeah, so this is considered to be informal, right? Is that important to know? Yes, because if we want learners to be successful, communicating and getting their point across with other people, they have to pay attention to when exactly they can use this language, right? In which context. So this is something that we call style, right? It's actually, yeah, what you typed before, levels of formality, for example, if it is formal or informal, yeah, type of language, yeah. So style, okay. Good, good. This is helping them become autonomous because they will know when to use it, okay? In which situation, talking to whom, right? To my mom, to my boss, right? Number four. So this is actually the meaning. Yes, that's correct. The definition. Yeah. We can call it the semantic meaning, right? Yeah. So this is basically what this means. And again, if we put these two together, so we can just draw conclusions here and there, right? Like we cannot change the collocation right here, or we're going to be changing the meaning, right? Okay, so students need to know that, to draw conclusions here and there. Okay, so number 5, this one would be the example. Exactly. What is this giving them? Context. This is helping them see where exactly the word is in a sentence, what they can put after it, for example, based on what they saw here, right there. So they are confirming information. They are just going back and forth, right? Yeah. Okay, good. So if we actually train our learners to understand dictionary entries, they can become more autonomous, because they can just look up words on their own, and they can understand more without having to rely on the teacher all the time, right? Okay. So over there we have another tool, the one that I was talking about right here. Quiz Your English. This is free, and I decided just to give it a go, and I'm going to give you proof of that. So here is the app. It's actually quite interesting. Over there, what you have to do is the following. You can actually work on grammar, vocabulary, and you can decide, well, select the level you would like to practice. And then the app is going to look for a person to practice with. Yeah. So basically, it's just a game that is timed, and you have to answer some questions fast. And the person who answers the questions faster is the winner, right? Okay. The interesting thing about this is that the people who are playing on this app are around the world. So you can get to know people from different countries. And I find this highly appealing to learners, because I have heard throughout my teaching experience that one of the purposes of learning English is just to socialize and to get to know people around the world. That's very common. So, and I'm going to give you proof of me using the app here. So here it is, Beto Salinas. So this is myself, and over there, I just logged in. I selected some items here and there. I decided to recycle some grammar. And then guess what? This app found a person for me. And this person was actually based in the UK, right? That was surprising. Yeah. So then, yeah, we started just practicing here and there. He won once, I won once, and yeah, okay, that was very nice. Yeah, I enjoyed myself there, actually. Yeah. So do you think this app can be actually useful for learners to become more autonomous? I think so. I'm going to give you some reasons why. First of all, I think they can just get to know people from different countries. And going back to what I said before, this is one of the reasons why a lot of learners are learning English nowadays. We give them, this app can provide practice on different areas, vocabulary, grammar, expressions. You even have different topics to choose from, like, for example, technology, going out, and stuff like that. So again, this is something that can be appealing to learners. Okay, this is highly recommended just because of the fact that this increases motivation as well. They feel they are using English in real life to actually do something, right? Meaning practicing the language online, right, with somebody else. Okay. So what do you think they need to know to actually use this app? To use, yeah, so what do students need to know to use an online app like Quiz Your English autonomously? So again, similar to the dictionary entry, there are certain things that we need to consider when it comes to suggesting students use this app, right? For example, here we have how to access the tool. Okay, so that's number one. So students need to know the web address. If it is an app, for example, if there is one available, or if it is just a web address. if they can actually use it on their computers or probably on their cell phones and stuff like that. Okay, they need to know if it is free. Yeah, that was actually probably the first thing that I that I just wanted to check if it was free. Yeah. And if it, yeah, probably if it is not, I would probably as a learner just ask my teacher how for example yeah, how good would be, for example, for me to use this app, right? And if it is worth spending my money on, right? Okay, then register. Sorry, let me just go back here. Register. So information that I'm going to be asked while registering, and also if we're talking about our young learners, we have to be extremely careful with the type of information we actually share online, right? This is going along with our online footprint and what type of yeah, how this is going to be used, for example, right? We have to just do some research there. Okay, some the privacy policy and stuff like that. Okay, so all those things are important. This is part of point number one. Number two would be how to use the tool. So again, as we talked about it in the dictionary entry, students need to know, for example, some instructions, whether they are oral or written. They have to be given some guidance in terms of how to get started, what to do in certain situations, and stuff like that. Okay, despite the fact that you think that our learners are actually tech savvy, it's not the case most of the time. So probably just need to help learners a little bit more understand these tools, especially if this is the first time they use them. Probably you can give a quick demo on this task. Over there, you just have to be extremely careful because as it happens in face-to-face teaching, sometimes when you are giving a demo and if you give students for example, the handout in face-to-face, right? So they start just looking at it, right? So when it comes to online teaching, if you have them use their computers or their cell phones, probably they can just start looking at it and they will just ignore your demo. So my suggestion is to ask them to just put their cell phone aside for a moment and then give your demo, and then probably you can repeat the demo now with them following your demo as you're explaining everything they have to do to get started, right? Okay. Okay, they can also watch a tutorial. So there are tutorials on just about anything, and you can find it on YouTube, I'm sure of that. And the good thing about this is that this encourages autonomous learning. How? Because again, they are not relying on the teacher to be explaining step by step what to do. And again, they are just looking for resources and they can start thinking about how to solve certain problems and stuff like that. And they get used to finding information on their own, which is important. Okay? Right, so that is the second point. The third point would be how to exploit the tool. So in class or out of class. So we can actually use tools like this in our classes in a very interactive way. We can, for example, make some groups and have learners just decide what to practice there and just invite through the app other people from different groups. And then they can just compete there in the class, okay? Out of class, you can ask them to recycle certain structures, for example, because I think in that app, I'm not quite sure, but I think in that app you can select specific topics and also specific grammar, probably. Yeah. Okay. I need to just double check there. Yeah, but at least specific topics. Yeah, you can do that, right? You can select the specific topic, and you can just have learners out of class just practice on that specific topic. I'm talking about, for example, traveling or whatever, anything that is related to that. Okay? And then when they come to class, you can just go back to what they did on the app, and then just tell them, for example, what they learned or words that they learned, new words that they learned, or all words that they recycle or stuff like that. Yeah, that's point number 3. And number 4, show learners where to get support. So again, going along with the tutorials in number 2, you can read online tutorials. So again, that is a good source for them to actually find answers to very specific problems. So number one reads help pages of website. So they need to look for these pages on their own, because again, it's just about not relying on people anymore and looking for information on their own. They will also get more practice at using the search engine. Probably, despite the fact we have adult students, so probably, yeah, we know that some of them need some practice using just online tools, and that could be, for example, some encouragement, right? And again, we just need to give them the opportunity to do that, and then just yes, prove themselves that they can actually find information on their own. So that's number 4. Okay. So now I just have I gave you some examples of some tools that you can use to promote autonomous learning. But sometimes what happens is that students ask you questions, right? So they ask you questions in terms of how they feel in their learning process, right? So, and everything has to do with the way you answer the question. So you can actually encourage students to be more successful, or probably you can discourage learners just because of the answer you provided is not the most appropriate one, if that makes sense. Okay. So right now I'm going to show you some comments and questions that are coming from learners, and you have to select. I'm going to give you 2 options, and you have to select the one that you consider promotes autonomous learning more. Okay. I'm going to give you, I'm going to show you now the document, so you understand what I mean. Here. Yeah, here it is. So this is number 4. Okay. So I have now my first question. Here it is. So actually it is a sentence, and this is coming from a real learner. So I want to learn English because I need a high IELTS score. Which one would you say to promote autonomous learning? This one right there, study as hard as you possibly can and try not to get discouraged, or try to set learning goals that you feel you can achieve. Don't try to learn everything at once. What do you think? Okay, I'm going to give you the link to this question, right? So you can answer there, okay? Here we go. So can you please look for the link in the chat box? Here it is, okay? So now feel free to now answer the question. So select the option that promotes autonomous learning more. Okay, let me show you this one right there. Wow, yeah. All the answers are coming that way, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. So yeah, try to set learning goals that you feel you can achieve. Don't try to learn everything at once. This has to do with motivating learners. If they set achievable goals, they can actually see that they are getting somewhere in terms of learning. And this place, and when they get to that point, they can actually just set another goal and another goal and so on and so forth. So one thing will lead them to another thing and so on and so forth. And also as well, we have to help them understand that this is just a long process, right? Yeah, I mean, it takes time. It takes time to learn a language and to master it. it doesn't happen overnight. So, and then some students just get desperate just by noticing how slow this process is, right? But yeah, we have to just make them realize that this is just natural. Yeah? And they are just allowed to make mistakes, for example, as many mistakes as possible. In fact, mistakes are part of the learning process. So the more mistakes they make, probably that means that the more they are experimenting with the language, right? Which is good, because that's how you can just go back to what you said before and improve it, right? Upgrade it. Okay, well done. So now, this was question number 1. Okay, so how about question number 2? Can you please now answer question number 2 there? Here we have, okay, where is, okay, here. So this is question number 2. I hate Friday tests because I always do badly. So what comment promotes autonomous learning more? Well, I suppose they are only revision tests and are not worth getting too worried about, or we do the test to help you revise what you have learned, but maybe you need to do a bit more of your own revision at home. Okay, so apparently everybody's going for the second one. Okay, okay, good. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, so we have some people answering number 1. Wow, okay, so I suppose they are only revision tests. Okay, so how about more people there? Okay, 2 people have already selected number 1. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so number 1. Interesting. So, well, I suppose they are only revision tests and are not worth getting too worried about. Yeah, actually, exams, tests have a purpose, right? Revision. So we have, yes, they are revising things, but test can also give important information to the teacher and the learner. So you as a teacher can just give your program little tweaks here and there, you're just based on the results of some exams. And also as a learner, if you have become more autonomous, you can decide what to practice more or what not to practice just based on the results of the exams. So yeah, number 2 is actually a better option. Yeah. We test to help you revise what you have learned, but maybe you need to do a bit more of your own revision at home. So again, it's not relying on the teacher, just telling you to check, to study, or just the program in school to just get information. You as a learner need to be just more aware of what you need to practice more to be more successful and to enhance your learning. Okay, so exams are giving you this information as well. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's just increasing awareness of how much you need to practice on your own, right? As opposed to just being there, attending school, and just getting information from the teacher or the course book. Okay. All right, yeah. So those are the first 2 questions. So I'm going to share another link, and over there you can find 2 more questions. Okay, these are the 2 last questions. So can you please find the link in the chat box now? Okay, so let me just, okay, here. Okay, so can you please open this link and answer the first question? So I'm going to share screen now. Yeah. Okay, so now the next question is, well, actually it is a comment, not a question. Okay, here it is. So learning vocabulary is too difficult for me. All this list and list of words. So just make sure you learn all the words that you need to learn and read your list every day. Okay, fair enough. Or perhaps try organizing words in your vocabulary notebook into subject headings. It's something, okay, it's sometimes easier to remember words when they are associated. Okay, so everybody's going for the second option. Okay. Right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So number one says, just make sure you learn all the words that you need to learn and read your list every day. I mean, this doesn't help anybody, does it? Students need to know exactly specific techniques that are actually useful for them to revise and learn vocabulary. Number one doesn't really help at all. It's just telling them something they already know, right? I mean, yeah, I know I have to study, I know I have to learn this vocabulary, but how? How should I do it? What technique can I just use here? But the second one, on the other hand, says perhaps try organizing words. Yes, this is giving the learner a specific technique they can use to memorize vocabulary or to just revise vocabulary. And this has to do with becoming more autonomous. So at home, they can actually do this, and they can just categorize different words into families, for example, or they can also use this technique for structures. I'm talking about grammar or even functional language. As I said before, they can use Google Slides for this purpose, and they can even share this information with the tutor or peers. So we have more collaboration. You can even, as a tutor, you can even set up individual groups and set up specific topics. And then probably at the end of the program, of the course of the week, for example, or before the exam as a revision session, you can just share the links to specific groups and then see what the others have put together, right? Okay, 3% actually answer, just make sure you learn all the words that you need to learn. Yeah, it's not that effective, is it? Because you are not giving specific techniques. You are not helping the learner um, find a specific way to address that problem, right? Okay, you have to be more specific. Okay, so now the last one. Let's move to the next question. So here we have, there is too much to learn. I never know English. Oof, how many times have I heard that? Oof, many, yeah. So number one, don't just think about what you have to learn in the future, also think about what you have managed to learn so far. Or how about number two? In the end, you will end up knowing the English you need to know and you don't need to worry about anything else. Interesting. So far, okay, three have already selected number one. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. So 20%, or is it 20 answers, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. So one person has already selected the other one, number two. In the end, you will end up knowing the English you need to know, and you don't need to worry about anything else. Yeah, I sort of disagree, right, on this one, because it's not something that will just happen automatically, yeah, like out of the blue. You will just wake up knowing how to speak, right? No, not really. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably your point is, yeah, if you continue attending school and you continue studying, probably in the long run you will see some results. Yeah, but you have to help the learner achieve that goal. By what? So number one says, don't just think about what you have to learn in the future, also think about what you have managed to learn so far. So this is promoting motivation. This is becoming, helping the learner becoming more aware of what they have learned so far and what they have used, and also the things that they need to start working on right now, right? So yeah, this is actually motivating learners a lot, okay? And this is actually one of the ways in which you can help learners become more autonomous, just by helping them notice what they have learned so far. This is what we call a little bit more, a little bit more metacognitive stage, where they know exactly what they are learning, for example, at the moment, and what the purpose of specific structure is, for example. Okay, yeah, it's just everything is just related to helping learners become more aware of what they are doing, and so they are in charge of their own learning. Okay, so they can make decisions based on this, right? And they can draw conclusions here and there, right? So I have achieved this. I am in this point. So now what do I need to do to, for example, move there, okay, or to achieve that point, right? Okay, well, interesting. Thank you very much. Right. So yeah, so that's actually the end of my presentation. Yeah, so I hope this was useful. I hope you got some ideas on how to promote autonomous learning. Yeah, I can see good comments here. Okay, interesting. Okay, good. Yeah, it's okay. So yeah. Is there? I hope you have already written some questions, so we can just go over them in a minute, right? Oh, thank you, Patricia. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for your feedback, guys. Thanks. Right. So Orlando, yeah, back to you.
Thank you very much, Liberto. So guys, thank you very much, Liberto. Guys, I know Liberto just gave us, a very interesting talk on learner autonomy, and different things that you could try with your learners, right? So remember that we're not going anywhere just yet. So, if there was maybe, I don't know, any question that you'd like to, Eliberto, we've got a couple of questions that Eliberto is going to read and then come back to. But if there were any other issues, any other topics or anything that maybe you didn't have a chance to ask a question on, feel free to go to the Q's and A's still, and we'll go back to that in just like 2 minutes, right? And I just wanted to share again, it's a little special something, for our friends. Remember that because it's still winter, it's still the winter break. I didn't realize you could see my teddy bear in the background. So I didn't realize, for those of you that like teddy bears, there you go. That's my teddy bear in the background. So anyway, guys, because it's a winter, I just wanted to give you a reminder. We are still honoring our winter sale on the CELTA course. This is something that has been going on ever since the start of the winter, and we're still in the winter. January is still, it does still feel very Christmassy, but then, we'll be moving on to February and then spring, in March. So, but we're still offering $90 off the regular price of CELTA. You only have to use that code. And if you don't know what CELTA is well, CELTA is one of the most important qualifications in the ELT world. We are actually going to be running a webinar at the end of this month with our friends from Cambridge, because increasingly Cambridge, they've been very happy with like the interest in the new CELT Online program, because through the CELT Online programs, we've been able to train so many different people in so many different places, so many different geographies, for also, more importantly, this new online reality, because the program is run completely 100% online. You get your international qualification through CELTA, and also at the same time, you're getting second qualification through our certificate, in teaching English online. So that's kind of like two for the price of one. and you're getting access to basically everything that Cambridge has prepared for you on the official platform. Don't sign up for any other CELTA course through any other center that will not give you access to the official materials. That's something that we don't recommend, because we recommend only using the Cambridge website official materials. So if you ever do ask about CELTA through a different center, you know, I think you should be in a principal position, you know, where you know how to make a principal decision, and that's by asking them if they're using the official Cambridge materials. And if they answer no, uh, you probably don't want to sign up through that center, right? Anyway, we do use those materials, and what do you have access to? Well, the, like, you know, all of those materials on the platform, the Cambridge platform, you know, recordings, interactive tasks, forums, you know, observations, you know, through like, I mean, like the website, you know, of different teachers. And also, you know, more importantly, the flexibility that this course allows for, because you can complete your CELT course basically only connecting once a week for around 3.5 hours. And that's that, you know, that's the beauty of the CELTA delivery, that it's extremely flexible, right? So anyway, guys, I just want to give you a reminder, because the offer, you know, is still in place. You know, we're still honoring the discount, you know, if you're using that CELTA winter 2020 discount code, you know, because winter started last year, so we're still in that 2020 chip. And you only have to, you know, click and apply on our website for CELTA, or, you know, reach out to your contact agent and they'll be able to help you. All right. So I just want to give you a reminder of that, guys. And I guess we're back to you, Eliberto, with questions. I guess people have asked some of the questions they want to know. I think, do you want to read the questions yourself, or shall I read them for you?
Yeah, you can read them. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Good. So I think people were asking about the app. There were two people in the audience that were talking about Quiz Your English, you know, which people found particularly interesting. And one of the questions is if you can install the app on any device, as in like an iPad, PC, you know, like on the phone.
Yeah, I think actually you can do it on the iPad and your phone, but not on your computer. Yeah, I mean your
Um,
laptop computer. I tried. I wasn't able to do it.
oh,
So
you
yeah,
were not able to do it. Okay.
yeah, I tried. Yeah.
Quiz Your. Yeah, I cannot even, I'm looking for it in the Microsoft Store, and that's right, exactly, it's not there. So it's basically on your iPad, guys, and
Correct.
your mobile, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a good question. And then the other question on that also is also on Claudia is asking if, you know, on the same app, if they can chat. As in, like, is it like Messenger if they can chat?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think yes, there is actually a tool that you can use to actually chat with your opponent, but I guess it's not like live chatting. So probably yeah, probably you need to wait for the answer, because I sent a message, and apparently this person or the person didn't read it at all, or probably yeah, he never got it. I don't know.
They didn't want to talk to you, Alberto.
But
You're
I
not
Yeah,
interested.
what I know for a fact is that I mean, as many of the apps available out there, probably you pay a fee. Probably you can get access to more features. So
I
yeah,
see.
it would be interesting to just know how many features they can actually give you if you pay a fee, right? I didn't do it. I just used the free version, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
probably it was because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, or maybe they didn't just like you, and they read the message and like, no, I don't like this guy. Okay, fine. All right. No, but it's an interesting app, guys, to try and try it. I think anything that will give your learners, you know, help online is absolutely something that you could try, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And then Paulina's asking, like, she's got a question on.
There's a
Um,
specific question on a
oh,
tick.
that's a specific question on other stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, send an email. I think you can send an email to me, Paulina, and I'll be happy to help. Cool. All right. All right. So I don't know if there's any other questions that people would like to ask, or if that's everything from your end. Um, yeah, I don't really see any more people asking questions, guys. So I think so. I think that that's everything. I think that's everything that people. I think you did such a great job that people didn't have any more questions, Alberto. Fantastic, right? Good
Yeah,
feedback.
of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
and, and
Yeah.
speaking of feedback, guys, remember that we always truly appreciate your feedback. So in the last 5 minutes, if you could maybe just give us some feedback. I'm gonna go ahead and in the chat box, I'm going to send you a link to remember a feedback form. There you go. That's a feedback form. And if you go to the feedback form, if you click there, if you could please just give us like it's really less than 5 minutes actually, right? If you could just give us 5 minutes of your time, it will take you to this form where it's quality survey. Remember that these webinars, this series of webinars, we're offering this to you. We're offering this to, members of the International House University community, and it will just ask you for your feedback on what you thought of the talk today of Filiberto, and more importantly, any other topics that you would like to get more training on. This is a series of webinars that we're running every season. This season is going to be reaching its end towards the end of spring, but then at the start of the summer, we're going to be launching another season for busy teachers that would like know more, that would like to know more about specific topics, right? So go ahead, spend a couple of minutes, just 2 minutes, and if you could just give us your feedback. And then at the end of this series of webinars, we're going to be creating new webinars with new topics so that you can then, benefit from all of these International House University is doing for our community and for all of those busy teachers out there that would like to get more ideas. If you think that some of our webinars could have even more practical ideas, also write those suggestions there and give us feedback, right? This is something that we're doing, and we would be absolutely delighted to give our best to you guys, okay? So again, it's there in the chat. And I think, oh, sorry, let me just give you a reminder, guys, of what we do. Remember that. Oh, yeah, Patricia is asking, how are we going? This is the usual question that we always ask at the end of a webinar. How are we getting proof for your participation? Remember that if you signed up for this webinar, Patricia, we have your details, right? We have your email, we have your phone number, you have the school that you work with, and we'll be able to send you the certificate of attendance through your agent. If you don't have an agent that you are working with already as part of the school, please write to me directly. I'm going to type my email in the chat box, which you also have here on the slide. That's tttmx@ihmexico.com. And I'll be more than happy to either assign you an agent or to give you the certificate myself, right, of attendance. And remember, guys, that if you want to watch the recordings, you only have to go to our official YouTube channel. It's also there in the in the chat box, right? And also, if you want to know more about the future dates for webinars, you also only have to go to our International Health University Media Room, and there you're going to find all of the next dates for our future webinars, right? And you can just directly sign there from the website. Okay, so thank you guys. I guess we've reached the end. This is everything for today. Thank you for your feedback. Great to see you again, first time this year. We really appreciate everything that you've done this year. We really wish you the best. We appreciate your feedback. Please give us feedback. And Eliberto, once again, thank you for your session. Thank you for giving us important, relevant information on how to develop learn autonomy and training. I don't know if you want to say goodbye to everyone before we say goodbye, Erica.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And I hope, yeah, they got useful ideas today. And yeah, probably we can just meet again later, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, at some and definitely at some point, definitely for drinks,
Yeah.
when we can go back to face anything, right? So thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Have a great start of the year 2021. Remember, all the best, great vibes, and stay tuned. And see you next month. Our next webinar is going to be in February. So go to the website and sign up. Thank you guys, and all the best for 2021. Bye bye.